We're here in Oslo with Lars and Øystein from Borknagar. Hi.
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 Hello.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
On the hotel room.
Yeah, right, cool. With Oslo in the background.
Yeah.
People will probably think about Solefald when they hear you, because not many people have heard your voice, I guess. So let's begin with one second about Solefald. When is the album out, actually?
I think in the autumn.
In the autumn.
I'm not really sure. We haven't gotten the release schedule yet, but we're mixing the album as we speak. So it's going to be done in like a month or so. So after that, it's up to India, I guess.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
But I guess the autumn.
Yeah. When it comes to Borknagar, you have a few lineup changes.
Mm-hmm. Of course, it has some impact on general approach, I guess, because of all the members has some impact on the music. But I think even though I think in the early days we somehow managed to create a musical universe which is kind of stands on own feet, regardless of really the members. I mean, the members really color the music and of course shapes the music. But I think the musical core is still there. All these lineup changes, we have been kind of lucky enough that those have turned out to the better for the band. I would say it's almost like a musical selection. Each and every lineup change, I would say, at least brings something new into the band, into the music, and I think that's kind of cool. Of course, it's losing a member and member quitting and stuff like that is always a lot of hassle, work, and have to find new members and stuff like that. But it's not just a negative thing, I think. But of course, I would appreciate. Of course, the lineup we have now, I think it's very good, very, I would say, perfect. So I hope we're gonna be able to keep that for a long time.
When you came in, was that in 2001?
99.
99, yes.
So I'm a veteran now.
Yeah, but it's a very important point that I think the musical core of the band, Lars, myself, and Winter Sorg, has been around for quite many years now. And I mean, I don't want to rate anybody in the band, but of course we have had a lot of impact on the music when it comes to writing and arranging the songs and stuff like that. So I think that's a solid foundation, I would say.
Yeah, and the thing is that Borknagar has its own soul. So when you work with music with Borknagar, you work in a different way than when you work with other projects. I mean, Øystein does other projects, I do other projects, and we don't think the same way when we work with Borknagar that we do when we work with other projects. So it's a special vibe, it's a special way of making music, it's a special way of thinking music, and then again it's how we relate to each other when we write, because things happen with the songs when we send it back and forth. I mean, the way we work is he makes the structure of the song and he sends it over with the riffs and some programmed drums, and we discuss things, and I send some keyword parts back, and it goes back and forth a few times, and it changes, but it still sort of circles around that basic idea of what Borknagar music is supposed to sound like. So I think that's why, even though we have lineup changes, we have a pretty steady sound. I mean, I'm pretty sure that people can hear on Universal that this is Borknagar, even though we've had some lineup changes again. So.
Yeah, I would definitely argue so. I think one of the really consequent things in the band is that the band is unconsequent. That the nature of our music is that we are kind of always taking a step further, and we always kind of evolve, and there is no. I mean, I never want to kind of repeat myself. The day I kind of realized that something like that could happen or have happened, I would probably just retire or something, because. To me, the interesting aspect of doing music is to be able to, evolve and progress and try to breach some boundaries in terms of writing songs.
It's the progressive element of our music, and that's why we get more progressive as well, for each album.
I mean, that's the nature of music. So for us, it's probably not as destructive, so to speak, to lose a member maybe as another band, because it's in our nature to change from album to album.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, we have good relations with everyone that ever played in the band. So it's not like, well, now you're out of the band, I'm never going to speak to you again, and I'm never going to drink beer with you again.
No.
You know, it's, I mean, that would be different. But since it's not a destructive way of doing the lineup changes, so it doesn't affect the band in that respect.
When someone says that, hey, I like Empirism more than, for instance, Universal, the new album, and you think that, well, what you do now is better because you have progressed all the time. How do you relate to that?
That's no problem now, is it? I mean, everyone's going to have their opinion about the things that you do. I saw an interview with Vegard of Emperor who said that it's kind of frustrating that people think I made my best albums, or that a lot of people think I made my best albums when I was like 18 or 19. Because, I mean, I love Emperor, but I love the things that he does now, and where Emperor was, I mean, mind-blowingly new when it comes to expression. The things he's doing now is more refined and complex, and I think that, I mean, if people get into a band on a certain point of time, you're almost always going to love that band more from that time than what they're doing now, because you have those memories about discovering something. You know, I have the same way of thinking with many of the bands that I like. You know. Thinking that, well, they were much better back in the 80s or in the early 90s when I started listening to them, you know, before everyone else started listening to them. So I think it's a natural way of the human brain to sort out this whole thing about music and albums and styles and how bands progress.
When it comes to you in the band, aside from Universal, because every artist is like, the new album is the best and it's the thing that you are living with now, which album is actually your favorite, and of course yours as well?
It's hard to pick an album, you know. I think it's easier to pick songs for me.
Okay.
Definitely.
Because albums, I mean, they all represent what you were and who you were at a specific point of time. So it's hard to say that that version of me is better than that version of me, you know. But I have some songs that I come back to and I love.
I totally agree, because when I look back on the old albums, I'm kind of really proud of the albums we have done, because it's kind of a chapter in my life, in our lives. It's a kind of a testament of what we did in that context of time, so to speak. So I mean, it's, for me as a musician and also writing songs and stuff like that, it's kind of almost impossible to kind of compare the albums, because it's you know, there is always things that I could to do better today, because I'm a more skilled musician, or I hope at least, and stuff like that. But it doesn't really matter, because the first album we did, for example, was done back in 1995 or something like that, and it's supposed to sound like that. That's it. So it's basically an irrelevant question, I would say.
It's like picking one of your babies.
Yeah,
exactly.
If you've got two kids, which one's the best?
Exactly.
The one who makes most money.
Yeah, that comes later in life.
Okay, yeah.